Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm News 8 meteorologist Ashley Baylor back in the News 8 Now Stream Center. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Friday. It does feel a little bit cooler out there today, but we're still running well above average. I tell you, as we get into the weekend, into next week, when we get back into the 50s, it may be a bit of a shock to the system because at this point, it almost seems like we're used to the 60s, 70s, and even 80s. So today, I mentioned this yesterday, I want to talk about a free little forecaster. He's actually a little free forecaster of folklore, if you will. I wanted to talk a little bit about the woolly bear caterpillar. Maybe you've seen some of these guys across Connecticut. I had some wonderful people send in some pictures, so let's talk about the woolly bear caterpillar for a second here. You can see it crawling across my screen here, and they're usually easily identified by the stripes, the black and brown stripes that they have on them. And I really mean it when they're forecasters of folklore, because depending on how much black or how much brown can be a predictor of what kind of winter we will experience. So look at the top there. The more black a caterpillar has, the harsher the winter could be. Now, if you see it has a little brown stripe in the middle and it's kind of evenly split, it means a moderate winter. But if you end up seeing more brown than black on these guys, it usually means a mild winter. And of course, you can see others if the brown is kind of closer to the end there, that means it'll start harsh and then end mild, or probably the other way around, more black near the head and there's more black near the tail. It means winter will start mild and end rather harshly. So here's the thing. The name woolly bear is actually not just a coincidence. The caterpillars are able to survive extremely cold temperatures by generating an antifreeze chemical known as cryoprotectant. It actually helps them retain a normal body temperature and keeps them from freezing. So these guys are actually pretty cool. This was one I took over the weekend. My daughter was at the Fairweather Growers Fair that's going on in Cromwell. I believe this is their last weekend, and if you haven't been, it's really a great fair. But I looked over, and there was one laying right there. So based on this one would usually mean a pretty mild winter. I don't know, it's kind of between moderate to mild, but certainly doesn't mean a harsh one. But look at this guy. This was sent in by Kelly. That is a lot of brown on that woolly bear caterpillar. That would definitely make for a very mild winter. And then we got this guy. This came in from Tara. And I can't exactly tell which is the head and the tail, but it is showing, again, kind of an even mix of black and brown. So it's usually indicative of a mild winter. So a lot of them seem to be saying mild winter, and that would go along with what the Climate Prediction Center is saying for the Northeast. So they actually could be right. Well, let's talk about some mild conditions. Let's talk about temperatures right now. It is 67 in Windsor Locks. We're at 68 in New Haven, 64 in Willimantic. So temperatures are fairly uniform across the state. We have winds diving out of the west, ranging anywhere between 7 to about 20 miles per hour. So there is that breeze out there, which is why we still have a red flag warning in effect, not just for us here in Connecticut, but up through Massachusetts and Rhode Island as well. And man, we could use some rain for a few reasons, not only because we know we're in a moderate drought situation across the state, but I don't know about you, my allergies have been acting up for the past couple of days. I don't know if it's all the dust that's being kicked up or something's going on because it has been mild, but my husband and myself, and I know a few other people, the allergies are kind of driving you nuts here. So yeah, here's a look at our drought status. If you didn't see this yesterday, it did update. So now our entire state is under a moderate drought, and of course that extends through parts of New York, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. In fact, parts of Massachusetts out towards Worcester and Boston, they're under a severe drought. And here's what's interesting. On October 29th, about 54% of the contiguous U.S. was under some sort of drought condition, whether considered abnormally dry or under exceptional drought. That was up about 22 to 23% from the beginning of October. So October has been an abnormally dry month for much of the country. So rain anytime soon, anytime, well, certainly not for this evening. So if you have any evening plans or if you're going to be under the Friday night lights for a high school football game, you will be perfectly fine. We'll see temperatures dive down mostly into the 30s overnight. Tomorrow, abundant sunshine across the state. So if you have any outdoor plans for tomorrow, you won't have any issues whatsoever. Now, if you're looking for something to do tomorrow, well, we only have 3 weeks of regular season left for some college games, at least the ones here in Connecticut. So you can see the Coast Guard Bears, my dad's alma mater, taking on Maritime. Kickoff is at noon tomorrow. Temperatures will be right around 50 degrees. We also got Yale playing Brown at noon. That is going to be the very popular kickoff time. You can see the Trinity Bantams also kicking off against Wesleyan University. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s. That should be an interesting game, a little Connecticut battle, if you will, Hartford and Middletown. We also got Sacred Heart. They're playing Long Island University at noon. So if you're heading to any of those games, have a blast. Talk about good football watching weather. Now, as we head into Sunday, we are going to see more clouds, and there will be some rain showers that develop very likely close to dinner time. So most of Sunday is going to be dry, just in case you do have any outdoor activities planned. But as we go through Sunday evening, Sunday night, into early Monday morning, we are going to be tracking a little bit of rain. Now, unfortunately, this is not going to be nearly enough to quench our thirst. I've really been emphasizing what we need is about 2 to 3 days of a consistent soaking rain, because we need that rain to really get down into the roots, down into the ground, because before, our soil moisture is only about 0 to 10% if you go from the surface down to about 3 feet. So we are in desperate need of some rain to replenish that. So we don't need to get the rain all at once. Again, it needs to be a steady, consistent rain, because when you get a lot of rain at once, it just kind of runs off and it doesn't absorb. Now, early Monday morning, we still have a few lingering showers, but my hope is we'll get that rain out of here in time for any Veterans Day ceremonies that may be going on across the state. There are quite a few. And of course, the last thing I want to do to our veterans is tell them to bring an umbrella or bring a poncho to any of those outdoor ceremonies. Our veterans deserve the absolute best, even when it comes to the weather. Now, Tuesday and Wednesday will be under the sunshine. Temperatures will kind of fluctuate between the 50s on Tuesday and Wednesday. We actually could see some lower 60s on Tuesday, closer to the shoreline. But Wednesday, you're going to notice that drop in the numbers. And as you can see, Thursday, we may be looking at more clouds with another shot for some rain showers. But once again, it's likely not going to be enough. You know, maybe between those 2 days, it could put the slightest dent in the drought. But I don't even mean to keep being pessimistic here. But it's really, the truth is, it's just not quite enough. So that's what we have going on for this weekend heading into next week. Thank you to everybody that sent in some woolly bear pictures. And of course, if you come across a woolly bear this weekend, make sure you take a picture, send it to reportit@WTNH.com. We always love to hear from you guys. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. And to all of our veterans out there, because I won't see you till Monday, happy Veterans Day. I am a veteran wife, daughter, granddaughter. I am so proud of the fact that my husband, he is still in the Air Force. He is a first sergeant. He will be serving from the Army to the Air Force for about 22 years come this January. He was originally in the Army, deployed to Iraq and later to Afghanistan. And then when he came back from Afghanistan, he switched over to the Air Force, and he's been serving ever since then. My dad graduated from the Coast Guard Academy and served in the United States Coast Guard for 24 years. And my grandfather, he was in the Air National Guard for 43 years, and then my other grandfather also served in the Navy. So I come from a long lineage of wonderful veterans, and if you are a veteran watching, thank you so much for your service. All right, take care, guys. See you on Monday.